The news of the day, Hunter Biden got convicted of gun crimes. And first of all, let's cover a couple things here. Hunter Biden got convicted of gun crimes for a couple different reasons. The first reason is Hunter Biden, obviously a criminal. Anyone who's seen the laptop understands that Hunter Biden is into all sorts of crimes, financial crimes, drug crimes, human trafficking crimes. He's a criminal. And while I'm not a criminal, I do understand that being a criminal comes with certain risks. You really don't want to get caught. And if you do get caught, it's important that you don't have evidence of your crimes. Hunter Biden has kind of approached the criminal life in a different way, and that every time Hunter Biden chose to commit crimes, he would take not just pictures, but video of him committing said crimes. And then after taking these videos, he would take his laptop and he would put the video recordings on the laptop. And then after having this laptop with all of your crimes recorded on the laptop, Hunter Biden gets to his laptop one day and says, oh my gosh, I need a firmware update or something or whatever was going on. And so he takes the laptop with all of his crimes on it and he takes it down to a laptop repair shop. And he says, hey, man, I got this laptop. Can you fix my laptop? But wait, there's more. After recording the crimes, putting the crimes on the laptop, and then taking the laptop down to the computer repair shop, Hunter Biden then just leaves it there. He just kind of forgets about it. And I don't know if you know this, but dry cleaners, laptop repair shops, whatever, they have rules where if you leave something there for a certain amount of time, they get to take possession of it. So again, I'm not a criminal mastermind, I admit that, but in general, it's probably a bad idea to commit all these crimes, record the committing of the crimes, put them on a laptop, and then hand them over to a complete stranger and just walk away. In general, that comes with risks. And look, obviously, today the system is trying to take advantage of this. The system has a credibility crisis. They have a credibility problem. People can see. They understand how evil this government has become. They understand the DOJ is just the arm of the Democrat Party now. They work to arrest and imprison Republicans and get Democrats off scot-free. David Weiss was a special counsel in this case. Do keep in mind before we play this little clip of David Weiss that David Weiss tried to get Hunter Biden off with a slap on the wrist, essentially kind of get him a little wrist slap and blanket immunity, and the deal was so ridiculous, the judge takes a look at it on the day it was supposed to get signed and says, wait, what? No, this is crazy. This is like an immunity deal. David Weiss did everything he could possibly do to get Hunter Biden out of this. But the judge kind of blew all that up, and then David Weiss had to move forward, and today he's out there talking about justice.
No one in this country is above the law. Everyone must be accountable for their actions, even this defendant. However, Hunter Biden should be no more accountable than any other citizen convicted of this same conduct.
Okay. You're going to see a lot of this today. You probably already have seen a lot of this today. Dirty communists running to the television, talking about how this proves our DOJ isn't corrupted. Oh, this proves that we have just a very bipartisan system. There aren't two tiers of justice in this country, which is, of course, ridiculous if you know anything about the background of this case, David Weiss, the FBI conduct, and otherwise. Joining me now, my friend Josh Hammer, to analyze this whole thing. Okay, Josh, Hunter Biden's officially a convicted felon. Apparently, he's facing up to a whole lot of years in federal prison. I have my doubts whether that's the way this is going to go, but you know these things. I do not. What do you make of all this?
All right, so some quick initial thoughts here. So, Jesse, a lot of our friends in conservative commentary were dismissing this case. And look, it is to an extent a show trial. I mean, the special counsel, David Weiss, he slow-walked this thing. He deliberately refused to bring charges and all the foreign influence peddling, the fact that Hunter was making 83 G's a month from Burisma, no doubt for his expertise in Eastern European oil and natural gas assets, by the way. But the fact that he was doing that while orchestrating meetings between the Ukrainians and the big guy, Joe, obviously we know by now that the special counsel did not touch any of that. But the reason that I actually disagree, and that I have been paying close attention to this trial on my show, America on Trial, is because Hunter Biden was so obviously, beyond the smallest sliver of a doubt whatsoever, guilty as can possibly be on these charges. I mean, how do I know that? Well, one, because he literally admitted it during his memoir, Beautiful Things, in 2021, which, by the way, they actually read the audiobook from at trial in Hunter Biden's voice because he recorded the audiobook for that book for his book publisher. And the fact that it was right there on the laptop, which the prosecutors, to their credit, introduced it as evidence at trial. They said over and over again, the prosecutors, no one is above the law, and the jurors deserve a lot of credit here. The jurors deserve a lot of credit for doing the right thing. So I am happy. Now, Jesse, am I going to come here and say that this is the end of the two-tier justice system, that America is back to a healthy society, equal justice under law? No. I am not quite that optimistic. I'm not going to put on my rose-colored glasses that much. But, Jesse, there are some folks on our side who I think are professional doomsdayers. They love kind of channeling the prophet Jeremiah, the prophet of lamentation, and they love just saying that woe is me, everything is bad, nothing is good. We should do a better job of just taking the W, of just sometimes just taking the win. And this is a win. This is an unambiguous win. Now, the obvious question comes in sentencing, which you teed up quite nicely there. Is he actually going to go to jail?
Okay, so whether or not he goes to jail, this prosecutor did everything he could to try to make sure Hunter Biden got out of this scot-free before he then had to throw the book at him, right? I do remember that, correct?
Yeah, totally. So the special counsel, David Weiss, slow-walked this thing for years and years. He took way too long. I mean, FARA, the Foreign Agents Registration Act, which is the main foreign corruption, the main law that Hunter Biden probably violated with his Ukrainian, Romanian, and Chinese dealings. We have either surpassed or we are rapidly approaching the statute of limitations at this point, and that seems a little bit more than deliberate, you might say. The special counsel, David Weiss, by the way, what he also did was he submitted this sweetheart plea deal, if you recall, just under a year ago, last summer, to the judge, Marielle Noriega. That plea deal would have gotten Hunter Biden a guarantee not to serve any time in jail. The judge, to her credit, and as a former law clerk, I have to say, to the law clerk's credit for alerting the judge, she peeked under the hood and realized this didn't quite make sense, so they rejected the plea deal. So this prosecutor definitely does deserve some scrutiny here. On the other hand, like I said, once the trial actually started, the prosecutor, they did everything they could. I mean, they introduced the laptop itself at trial, the same laptop that the media, 2 years ago was saying was Russian disinformation. Now it's being used as smoking gun evidence by the FBI at trial. Pretty crazy how no one is calling for accountability of the media and the deep state and big tech for that, by the way. But yes, they obviously have hid the foreign stuff. And, what I am saying is that if Donald Trump wins a second term come January 2025, there is nothing stopping him, that I'm aware of at least, from appointing a new special counsel to revisit these FARA and foreign corruption charges that this special counsel declined to prosecute. You have a double jeopardy clause in the Constitution, which means that if you are found not guilty, you can't then be tried guilty again. That's double jeopardy. There's nothing that I'm aware of that says that a special counsel has looked and then decided not to bring charges. There's nothing I'm aware of that would then prohibit another counsel from exercising his prosecutorial discretion to bring charges in a subsequent administration. So Trump should do that come January 2025.
Do we think he will? Trump obviously is running for president, so he says some things here, says some things there. Can't decide what Trump we're going to get if Trump wins the election. Are we going to get the sword of God who's going to come in and start cleaning things out? Or are we going to get the Trump who just kind of wants to be a normal president and return things back to normal, which of course won't return anything to normal at all? What is your sense on what we're going to get if we get President Trump Part 2?
I hope that he has a chip on his shoulder. I hope, I have to imagine that part of the reason that he's running for president in the first place, Jesse, is that he has a chip on his shoulder because of the 2020 election and all the shenanigans and all that there. But I have to at least hope that he is willing to prosecute people like Hunter Biden. I mean, Jesse, you and I have been two of the people that have been singing this same tune for many years now, which is the rule of law in America is fundamentally broken. I mean, we see it out in the open day in and day out. It's not just Donald Trump, by the way. A lot of people say, oh, it's just Donald Trump. Yeah, total nonsense. Steve Bannon, Peter Navarro going to jail. My friend John Eastman potentially going to jail, being disbarred in California. These pro-life protesters, as you're well aware of, getting the FACE Act, this ridiculous statute thrown their way. They're trying to lock up grannies who are peaceful pro-life protesters. Get the heck out of here. So, we have to try to rebalance this pendulum, and coming after Hunter Biden for these very, very legitimate and well-founded foreign corruption things that he has done in his sordid, not so kosher past, that is a very, very good thing to do in a Department of Justice come January 2025. It is good on the substantive legal merits and is good for tit for tat, mutually assured destruction purposes as well. So I have to at least hope that Donald Trump and his inner circle are considering it. I was very encouraged when I saw recently my friend John Yoo, the former high-ranking Bush DOJ official, who, John's a friend, but he is a little less aggressive, I guess you would say, than me or you, Jesse, when it comes to this whole notion of mutually assured destruction. Even John Yoo reached the conclusion that some sort of prudential bloodying up of their noses in retaliation has to come in order to get us back to a neutral playing field. So when people like John Yoo are being red pilled, so to speak, and kind of realizing what's going on here, I actually am a little optimistic that Donald Trump might actually just do it.
How about that? Hopeful. Thank you, Josh. I appreciate it, my friend.